Jesus, greatest, highest, I will come to thee.
Most Americans celebrate Christmas every year. It is one of my favorite holidays because you get to be around your family, eat great food, and the presents are fun too. Most people are happier and kinder during this time of year. There is nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas or other national holidays as a tradition, as long as you do not try to bind these traditions on others as being a holy day or a special day that one must observe. Many religious groups celebrate Christmas as Jesus' birthday, and they have special Christmas programs with the birth of Christ being the theme. I'm thankful for any holiday that makes people think more about Jesus, but sometimes people turn their traditions into a fact. For example, there is no way to assign December 25th as being Jesus' birthday because the Bible does not tell us when he was born. In the first 200 years of Christianity, there is no record of Christians celebrating Jesus' birth. As the Encyclopedia America explains, Christmas was, according to many authorities, not celebrated in the first centuries of the Christian church, as the Christian usage in general was to celebrate the death of the remarkable person rather than their birth. When Christians began to celebrate Jesus' birthday around the 3rd or 4th century, there was a great dispute on when it should be celebrated. Around 8 specific dates were offered in January, March, April, May, September, and December. Of course, December 25th was the final choice. The Roman Catholic Church made this an official celebration in AD 435, when the first Christ Mass took place, from which the word Christmas was coined around the 11th century. The most likely reason December 25th was chosen was because Rome celebrated this day as the birth of their sun god. It was a common practice for Christians to replace pagan holidays with something associated with God because they knew it would be easier for a person to change what they celebrated on that day than to give it up. Instead of celebrating the birth of the sun god, now we would be celebrating the birth of the Son of God. The Roman Catholic writer Mario Gretti candidly admits, to facilitate the acceptance of the faith by the pagan masses, the Church of Rome found it convenient to institute the 25th of December as the feast of the birth of Christ to divert them from the pagan feast, celebrated on the same day in honor of the invincible sun, Matthias, the conqueror of darkness. While we do not know when Jesus was born, the evidence we have suggests that Jesus was born some other time other than the winter months. Luke 2 in verse number 1 says this, "And it came to pass in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered." This census first took place while Quirinius was governing Syria. So all went out to be registered, everyone to his own city. Joseph also went from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be registered with Mary, his betrothed wife, who was with child. So it was that while they were there, the days were completed for her to be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. Now there were in the same country shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. We learned that there was a census, and that the shepherds were out in the field keeping their flock by night. Most scholars agree that a census would not have been made during the winter months because it would be difficult for people to travel during that time. It was also a common practice for shepherds to bring their flocks in from the field around October and November to house them for the winter. Most scholars agree that Jesus was most likely born around springtime or possibly in the fall because that is when a census would have most likely taken place. Most Christmas plays get Jesus' birth wrong as well because they have the shepherds and the wise men together when Jesus was in the manger. However, only the shepherds were there, as we read in Luke chapter 2. The wise men did not see Jesus until later when he was living in a house, according to Matthew 2 and verse number 11. While Jesus' birth is important and we should be thankful for it, let us not turn human tradition into fact, because the Bible never tells us to celebrate the birth of Christ, and it does not tell us when he was born. However, the Bible does tell us to remember his death every first day of the week as we partake of the Lord's Supper, as can be seen in 1 Corinthians 11, verses 23 through 26. So enjoy your traditions, but don't bind them on others or use them to teach false things that are not found in the Bible.